We're back Tuesday, rocking and rolling, moving and grooving. Welcome to My Funded TV, the show brought to you by MyFundedFutures, made not only to entertain and engage you, which we try to do on a daily basis, but ultimately to make you a better trader. We look at charts, ideas, trades, questions, setups, surprises, on and on and on the list goes. Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for being here. I will say this that I haven't said in a handful of shows. My job, Terry's job, is to be the voice of the chat. We are here for you. That's why we exist. That's why we're on this stream. Every comment that you put into the chat, we read it. The good ones, the bad ones, the useful questions, the useless questions, we read them all. And it's our job to make sure that they get delivered. Between Forrest, Barbie, Terri, you've got a lot of brain power, a lot of experience on this stream with you. As we look ahead to today, we're going to dive right into it. We're going to take a look at ES and NQ and get some expert opinions on what the levels look like, what trades might look like, etc. I've got a little surprise trade for you. One of the folks that you're used to hearing from each day is taking a trade on gold today. So we're going to take a look at a gold trade. We have the most interesting chart of the day. Every day, we deliver for you the most interesting chart of the day and more and more and more. But that will take us a little bit through our open ESNQ, a gold trade, the most interesting chart of the day. So can we get some W's in the chat? Let's get this thing rocking. Let's get it rolling. You might be tired. Maybe you didn't wake up early and get your exercise in and your breakfast and your journaling, and you're just rolling on now. Warm the fingers up. Get a W in the chat. Like the stream. If you have not yet liked the stream, now is your chance as we're just getting rolling here. And most importantly, share it with your friends. If you care about other people, okay, if you care about other people, you would want them to achieve their goals. And according to Luke, the only way to achieve your goal, no matter what it is in life, is by watching MFTV. Again, if you care about other people, you would want them to achieve their goals. The only way to achieve said goals is watching MFTV. So share the stream, like the stream, send it to a buddy, a community, etc. And let's dive into it. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome BB and VF on to the stream with us. What's up, BB and VF?
Tuesday!
Yo.
How's your opening? I liked it.
What's up, y'all?
Good morning.
You know what one of my dream jobs is?
Tell me.
To be the monster truck commercial reader guy, where it's like, Tuesday. Live, grave digger. I would enjoy that.
I would watch that if it was you. Actually, Luke, I amend that statement. I would watch anything that you're on, brother.
Boom. That's why I'm rocking with your webinars too.
Let's go. We're gonna do it eventually.
Let's do this. Let's switch it up today. Let's start with NASDAQ rather than ES. I know, testy Tuesday, triumphant Tuesday. Mr. VPE himself, would you like to share your NASDAQ chart and take us through what you're looking at?
Let's take a look. So I have them both side by side because that matters. First and foremost, we need to talk about what happened yesterday. Okay, so we grinded up, right? We did that little U-turn. We grinded up. We did eventually sweep those overnight highs. If you guys recall, I did like 230 points out not long. I should have held for more. So I got out a little bit too early, around 440. I could have held for prior day highs. Got another 86 points out of it. Not bad. ES went to this target that I marked out almost to the penny, basically to the penny in the session, right? And then it cracked it a little bit higher afterwards, but did like a tick perfect touch and then, did the rest of overnight. So we swept that high overnight, came back and traversed this node on both ES and NQ. So they look a little bit different right now, just slightly, not too crazy. You can see here that there's this POC floating down here on ES. We don't have that on NQ. So just taking a look at NQ. Let's mark out our levels together, right? So prior day high, it's going to be right there, right? We have overnight low, which is going to be right here. We need another line for our prior day low. We'll go ahead and relabel that prior day low, PDL. We'll shorten this to PDH. We've got our overnight low and overnight high. Doesn't really matter. I have prior day high really marked is overnight high. So prior day high is really here, and then overnight swept it immediately a few points higher. So really this is a zone. Overnight high doesn't exist. We're just gonna mark it as prior day high. Doesn't really matter. Okay, that little area right there. And then above, I have my upside target on NQ, which still hasn't been hit, right, off of these highs at 21,619. We're very, very close. So in terms of today, remember yesterday, this is really important. I saw a lot of people, unfortunately in my own community and across the internet, just misplay the crap out of this. We're still in an uptrend, right? So until the market proves that we're done uptrending, and you can see it clearly on ES, until it proves that we're not in an uptrend, assume we're uptrending. Okay, so many people, because of the news, especially the news, were like, no, we got to flip bias. No, look at the charts. Literally look at the charts. Look at the charts. The charts are what you're trading with. Okay, we're still in higher highs and higher lows, and until that stops happening, it's going to be the same thing. Okay. I saw so many people just absolutely scuff yesterday for that reason. So I'm expecting, literally, broken record, same thing today. Okay, until the market proves otherwise. We do have a little bit of breaking structure on NQ, a little bit. I could see us come down to like 21,300, traverse this node here. Right, do some node traversal. Where's my drawing tool? Right, round and round here, we traverse this node, we box it out here. We could traverse this node, right, come down and basically sweep all of the auctions. If you look at all of the nodes in these days, we're just coming and grabbing all the players from basically since the 13th, right? We're just going to go and snag all those guys. We'll put in a level down here. I don't think that we're going to come and test the bottom of this megaphone that we have on NQ just because of how bullish ES is. Okay, I think it's going to stop out at the bottom of the shelf, put in a higher low, and then it'll be something like this. Right, so we'll come down, boop, boop, and come higher. It'll be something like that. That's my anticipation. Now, that's my A thesis. B thesis, slow week with data. We could just, have some immense amount of chop or something like that. Let's check our calendar again, make sure I'm not misremembering things. Yeah, we don't have anything, right? Today, in terms of tier 1 data, we don't have anything. Tomorrow, in terms of tier 1 data, it's light. So until Thursday, we have unemployment claims. So we're gonna have kind of just grindy regular price action until Thursday, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking on the old NQ.
Barbie, that means it's your turn.
All right. I wasn't sure if you were going to cue me up.
I
Flipping
wasn't
over
sure
here.
either.
It's
like
cue her up.
Sat on there and thought about it for a minute, and I'm like, okay, I guess.
Well, here's my daily. I was watching like, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Here we are, starting on the daily as always. What I'm kind of noticing, I always kind of watch the shapes because I'm anticipating what shapes any of my charts could potentially form. And what I'm noticing is we had the sharper up candles here, and it's kind of looking like it might be starting to round off, which makes a lot of sense when we're pushing the levels that we are. So let's talk about those. Usually I line this up where I wanted to show you, which is right about here. Okay. So you can see the price action yesterday. Of course, it was a very bullish day. Like we just took off and kind of never even slowed down till the very end of the day. But what I'm looking at is we kind of have some obvious targets here. So to the upside, it's still 6,000. That's just, it's a psychological number, is a big old macro number. We didn't quite get to it. And so that's still just a really obvious target. So if we break the highs at 93.50, that's the next target. That's not a huge space. We're used to going for more than 7 points, right? But that is there. I am a little bit cautious still. Like the market is in a bullish drive right now. So I am still a little bit cautious of there being a lot of sellers when we come up to a big level like 6,000. So it might be that we kind of come up here and then fall into chop or into a little bit of a retracement. So if that happens, if we get met with a lot of sellers up here at 6,000 and make it up there, I mean, we could bust through. But if we get caught up, I'm really looking to see if we kind of stay inside of this kind of clump of price up here. So that's from yesterday's high around 59.93 down to this pre-market low. I meant to mark that pre-market low so we could have it on there. There it is, the 59.55.25. Is that
so
pre-market
59.55 at the bottom? And what was the top again, Barbie?
It's the high from, well, actually, we have a new pre-market high. We had the high from yesterday that was really, it's really that 90 area, the 59.90 area in general. And the reason that I'm watching that as kind of more of a zone is we had the high yesterday at 59.88 and then this pre-market high at 93.50. So it's really that 90 zone is the break that we have to get to 6,000. This is kind of the same situation yesterday where I had like a level right past that break point. And so it made me real cautious about that trade. So that is the mode we're in there. The mode we're in is up. I'm just kind of watching that curve. Like at some point, are these sellers going to actually have some success? I don't know. But there is the big level that I'm really going up for way up there is still ahead of us. So there's still a lot of room.
What is that one? Is that ATH?
That's 60.81. So that's an extension off the daily chart from before we made this down move, that swing high.
Okay.
Okay, so that's kind of.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, what?
No, you go.
So that's if we keep pulling, like it's when we kind of get into them, but we're not at all-time highs. This is the way I was kind of thinking about this. We're not at all-time highs, but it kind of feels like we're at all-time highs because we've made so much distance up. So we are trading a little bit like when we're at all-time highs, which is we peak above, see if there's sellers, and it's either going to lift off or come back down. And we're kind of having a little bit, even though we're not at all-time highs yet, we are kind of in this. Well, I'm going to show you on the daily chart a little bit because I showed this the other day that we had this big clump of price up here on the daily. And we're starting to trade kind of inside of this big consolidation area that we had. This is the zone that we dropped down out of. And so that's why I'm really, really closely watching this. And the 6,000 level is kind of, I'm always watching the midpoint. So the 6,000 level is really close to the midpoint of this consolidation zone that we had. And this was really, this was before all the tariff stuff came. So this is where the market was trying to decide what we were going to do. Tariff news came out, we moved down. Well, we're back up where we were. So basically we've recovered the tariff drama. So are we going to chill here? That's a possibility. We could kind of chop on a macro scale, just kind of around the 6,000 level. And that's why I'm wondering if we're starting to slow down a little bit. But we have a lot of support down here too, because of this trading zone down here. And so in a sense, the market is kind of reacting to these two consolidation zones on the macro. And so I'm looking to see if we're going to stay inside of this other one. So when I go down to the hourly chart, that's it's actually way down here. So that's putting us down into like the 58.80s to 58.61, which is a pretty significant drop right now. So I don't think we're going to get that. But what I am watching, if we do find sellers up here at 6,000 or in the 59.90s, and it's a little bit more significant than just dropping down here and chopping and finding more to move up. Look at all this space right here from yesterday. None of this has been traded. I'm going to move over. Hopefully I'm not going too crazy right now. The TPO chart.
What is this?
I'm going to teach you all TPO chart, but this is called a single print down here. And this is a pretty significant one that's coming down to about 59.21. And so that's kind of the area that I'm looking for, which really lines up with the support zone down here. So this is where I'm looking to find support. If we do find sellers, I'm really looking for the 59.20 20 area up to about 25 to hold. But we could really explore inside of these candles. It's kind of, I mean, they would call them fair value gaps or imbalances and all kinds of stuff, depending on who you listen to. But basically, the idea is this: we've had a lot of efficient trading where price levels have been really, they've been traded well, but we've covered a lot of the prices. And then over here, we haven't. These prices were kind of ripped through rather quickly, especially in this zone right here below this high from like the Sunday open. So that was around the 59.50 area. That area down there, I'm really wondering if the market's going to want to explore that some more. And so we're close enough there where we could get there today if we find sellers up here. And it could be like we're kind of doing one of these zigzags where we're stair-stepping up, taking that exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. So this could be kind of what the market is doing. We're in a little bit of a tricky spot because we are coming up into this old consolidation zone that's really, really important. We could break out the top of it, but it could also kind of hold the market where it is right now and end up making us in a more choppy environment that we've been used to down here with these humongous candles.
What is this TPO chart nonsense you speak of?
So this is, I'll probably do, if y'all are interested in this, I'll organize an education segment on this. Woo! But this is market profile, and it's just a different way of looking at price action. So the TPO stands for time price opportunity. So like in volume profile, you're looking at how the volume reacts to the price. And this is more about how price was traded over time instead of over volume. But yeah, I'll go over this. So what we're looking at, what I'm calling a single print, is where it's an inefficient area of trading. So this is what sometimes I get called a hater, but really it's just I'm trying to look at the more established ways of studying price. And one of those is these single print areas. And they do kind of act like price vacuums sometimes because it's an inefficient area in the market. And the idea is there's potentially orders that got skipped because this move was so fast and was so impulsive that we didn't necessarily fill all of the buyers down here that may have wanted to be filled. So if we can bring price back down there's going to be liquidity. It's going to be a liquidity area. So that's one way to look at that. But well, if y'all are interested in the TPO charts, I'll teach y'all how to read those. I don't always use them. But
all right, couple thoughts here. One, can't believe that we're already talking about 6,000 again. After all that drama. And Barbie was so dramatic about it and said the world is coming to an end. This is the biggest move we've ever seen.
Sell. That's what I said.
Yeah, on and on and on and on. And I said, chill. We'll be back to all-time highs shortly. And we're getting there. So there's one thought. Two, I heard you have a trade this morning, which I want to talk about.
I did have a trade. I can do a little. Okay.
Three, I need to talk to the chat.
All right, let's talk.
All right. Here's the deal, guys. We have 550 people watching right now. Not everybody watching this stream has liked it yet. Not everybody watching this stream has subscribed to the channel yet. Not everybody watching this stream has shared it in their community yet. Not everybody watching this stream has put in what their bias for the day is, what their trade for the day is, what their level for the day is, what assets they're trading. Give us some useful piece of information to help the community out. Again, it's not just about BB and VF. It's about you guys as well. If you care about other people, you would help to inform the community what you're doing. If you want to get better, you'd want to read what others are doing. So now is your chance, people. Put in what you're trading, trades you have open, levels you're watching, etc. We want it. Fourth, I'm just rolling right now. Fourth, Forrest.
Hello.
I'm going to give you some work.
Please.
Whoever asks Forrest the best question gets a free expert account. How's that?
Oh, we're back. Yo, guys. I need you to really get in your bag. Okay? Really dig around in there and find the best question that you can muster. Okay? I want to hear something I've never been asked before. Okay, about trading.
Oh, okay. Oh, never mind. Okay. I had a good one, but then you said about trading.
About trading.
Okay.
But yeah, ask away. I'm gonna ask all of my peers / team here to help me find the best question, because I didn't do a perfect job last time, and so people felt like maybe I missed. Here's one. Forrest, what do you think about Forrest? Well, I love trees. They're great.
It does help when you don't repost the same question over and over and over too.
But there's so many.
It's hard to find when you're just reposting it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the other thing: is if you
Run it once.
If you paste the same question more than once, you're not eligible to win.
All right, I'm just
They're asking for your social security. I just want your credit card number. That's fine. I can do it.
I'm gonna read through a few, and then we'll pick the best one. How about that? So that we can, because there's a lot of good questions in here that I want to answer.
How about that?
Okay.
They're so fast. Oh my gosh.
From Folkman, FOEPMAN, Forrest, what emotions are important if you have a solid system that's back tested and has proven results? Just follow the rules, right? Yeah, trading is really, here's a simple thought experiment you can do. Instead of being a trader, imagine you're a trade manager. Okay, and imagine you're tasked with making sure a bunch of idiot traders don't break your rules, right? They're working for you, right? And they can't trade without your permission. And every time they take a trade, you're going to ask, okay, does it follow X, Y, Z, A, B, C? And if it doesn't, you're going to say no. Okay, here's the kicker. You're the trader. Okay, you're playing both rules. It's really easy for us to like come up with rules on all these things, but then for some reason, because trading is a solo sport, we break them. So try that out. What do you consider to be the most important psychological traits of a successful trader? Self-control, self-awareness. What is the best way to improve trading psychology? Improving your psychology overall. Barbie was talking about this the other day. And we talk about it in general, but you just gotta, your entire life is going to be a good indicator of how good you are as a trader, in my opinion. If you had to condense all of your trading knowledge into one piece of advice, what would that be? Short the highs, long the lows. What is the truth of profitability that held you back personally? Self-control, for sure. What was the turning point in your trading? When did it all click for you? For me, when I realized that money was simply a factor of leverage and that trading was like poker, right? I've made and lost a lot of money, guys. Like it was unrealized, but my biggest loss was like $500,000. Okay, I've told the story before. I was in Egypt, spent 30 days in Egypt, going all over. I was trading on my phone, and I watched $500,000 just evaporate in like literally minutes. Okay, and I had two realizations: one, that I was an idiot, and two, I was like, well, if I can lose $500,000 that fast, I can make it that fast, obviously, right? But it's just like money isn't real, and like that's still how I feel about money today. Like it's totally not real. Like I don't even sweat. Like when I trade, like I really just don't care. You have to not care, and that's where you can really start printing money. What else do we got in here? When I become profitable, which I'm going to do, what's the best way to handle taxes? Hire a CPA. Hire a CPA. Do not ask, do not listen to anyone. I'm telling you, they don't have the answer. Even if they're a trader, okay, they might be in an entirely different position to you, with a different set of assets. Okay, own real estate and much of other stuff too. Like, just go talk to a CPA, please. Ask a professional. It's literally all they do. What else is in here? If you had to choose one quality that you put above all others as the most important to be a profitable trader, similar to other ones. Self-control, guys. Can you do what you say you're going to do? Is like in life, okay? This is like,
that's a life lesson.
I'm going to do a Luke life lesson from Forrest. The bar is really low today, and maybe this is like the old man in me, but a lot of people just won't do what they say they're going to do, straight up. So just be someone who does what you say you're going to do for yourself and for others, and you will immediately be an exceptional person, because most people just don't. I'm trying to find some like trading. There's a lot of psychology, and maybe everyone wants to ask about psychology. After excelling, here's a good one. After excelling in a risk-free evaluation, okay, maybe like at MyFundedFutures, why does my psychology shift so drastically once real money is on the line, and how can I retrain my brain to treat fun?
Great question.
Same I had before. This is from Mike ZZ.
All right. Is he the winner?
Let's give it to Mike ZZ. Everybody, virtual round of applause, Mike ZZ.
W Mike in the chat.
And to answer the question, after excelling in risk-free evaluation, why does my psychology? If I had to guess, Mike ZZ, you are not journaling, and you are you're shooting from the hip. If you make your day as tedious as possible, and I know this sounds backwards, make trading as tedious as possible. Plan for a set amount of time. Come up with like trade the exact way every set of time. When you swap out just one piece from going like a funded to a real account, it's not going to seem so different. It really won't, because trading is like this very like process. Like I do A, I do B, I do C, I do D, I do E, I do F every single day. It needs to be like this regimen. Like you need to be like a monk. Okay. Until you build a track record and you can peel back. If you do that, which I'm guessing you're probably not doing, your brain it's going to feel exactly the same. Like I promise it will, because your day is going to be the same. Like it'll be exactly the same. Today will feel exactly like yesterday, and tomorrow it will feel exactly like today, because you're doing the exact same things every single day. That's it.
Forrest. I guess I'll ask Barbie this one, since we sort of got your answer. Barbie, do you advocate people use paper trading accounts as they're getting going? Like my take is no.
Yes.
You're a yes?
I do. I mean, sometimes I came over from options, and futures is very different, and it's not just the charts, it's the tech. And so the first few futures trades I put on were like, whoa. And putting those on in paper just to take the pressure off of the trading, and so I could actually learn how to place a stop and how to place a target without the pressure of money. It was really, really great. I still trade in paper because I backtest everything before I place a trade on it. So even if it's a really simple strategy like an orb, I backtest the heck out of these, and I backtest over the past 90 days, and I backtest over the past 2 years, and I just backtest, because that's where I get my confidence to go put it on in a live account. That's what everyone, once it comes down to it, you're afraid to actually push the button at the time, because you're afraid that it's going to not go your way this time. We all know in the back of our head there's that percent of the time that it doesn't work, or the percentage of the time that we're wrong, and that could happen. And you need to have some level of confidence, and you get that confidence from trading in paper. So I know that there's that gray area where evals are paper, we've got these sim accounts, but you still want the confidence going into that environment, so that's a good training environment for when you move into live funds.
Yeah. My experience with it is, so I do not advocate for paper. I advocate for like really small accounts with real cash, because of the psychology shift that user asked about. I had so many times back in my days when I was blowing up accounts, which I don't do anymore. Okay. But in my years of blowing up accounts, I would do so well on paper, and then get to a cash account and just blow it up so quickly. And for me, I just couldn't make that psychology shift. That was my intensity just increased so drastically, and my analysis paralysis increased so drastically. That it's I wasn't learning, I wasn't connecting the dots. And when I switched to doing smaller live accounts, that's sort of the big boost for me to start figuring things out.
So what I tell people in my Discord is, when you're prop trading, MyFundedFutures, expert plan, the best account in the game, also trade a personal account. So I actually agree with Luke. I think, because this is how I did it, guys. When people ask me, like, I did not start with prop accounts. Okay.
I agree. Trade your own funds too. I'm with you on have your own account.
They did not exist. I will say that. So it's very old man to me, at least not in the way that they do today. Like all of these companies did not exist. MyFundedFutures didn't exist. So I traded a small account, and failure just wasn't an option, because I didn't want to lose my money. So I just took it very, very carefully. And the best traders that I see that are new, they trade their personal account, markets open, and a prop account, right? So you get both worlds. You get the leverage of a prop firm, right? Which you otherwise would have to take, weeks or, saving up money and time for. So you still get the advantage of the shortcut, but you also get the real-time learning and appreciation of like the small gains. Because again, the issue that I see with a lot of new traders is that they're going for these huge home runs, and it's like, dude, just take the $100. You know, if you made $100 real dollars every day, that's why I like the what's the account called? The starter accounts, the other account types for newbies. Okay.
Yep.
People are all over the defense on it. I like it for newbies because it forces you to focus on base hits and like appreciate money versus going for these home runs and thinking you're going to make like, I'm a new trader, I'm going to make 50 grand. It's like, you're not. I'm just telling you guys right now, you are not. You can though make a good amount of money, you know, pay off your car, pay off your house, pay for something. But there's no shortcuts in this, guys. I'll tell you that right now. There are none.
All right, I'm gonna pivot us. First, I'm gonna preview us. One, we've got some special giveaways cooking up. Terri said that she's willing to front and pay for free resets and free accounts today, starting at 750 live concurrent viewers. So, you know, Terri has a gift for you, is all that I'll say. Second, we're going to be covering Barbie's trade this morning. A little surprise trade for us. We'll look at that. And we're at the open, and we have the most interesting chart of the day. So you've got Terri paying for free stuff for you all. We've got a live trade that we're going to take a look at. We've got the most interesting chart of the day, and we have the open. But before that, life lessons with Luke. LLL. You have to be okay accepting that you may not be the best person for something that you enjoy and are passionate about. It's an ego thing. But there are times where even when you give it your all, you're not the best person for the job. And that's okay. You've got to be willing to step aside and let the best person run with it. While you continue to build and double down and create and be supportive as you can, if the ultimate end is to help whatever that project is or whatever that thing is that you're working on achieve a better and a higher state. So with that, I would like to replace myself with Miss Terri Trades.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Life lessons from Luke. So good. I was listening to everything you guys were talking about. Lots and lots of words of wisdom and helpful advice. The psychology pieces, really big. I loved what you were talking about, Forrest, about how it's just not going to happen overnight. Like it's a slow process. We're not going to make $1 million in a day, even though I wish we could. And then I would buy everyone free accounts. Yeah, not today. I wish. Let's take a look at the open, you guys. So we've been open for 40 minutes now. We're at, I'm looking at NQ. So we're at about 21,422. Yesterday's overnight low was 112. And then overnight market low is 393. So right now I'm kind of looking at 393 as a possible break, maybe.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 59.55 on ES, which is same area. And we're below VWAP. We're kind of bearish right now.
Yeah, we are, right. When I looked at pre-market this morning, I was thinking, could we fill the gap again like yesterday? But yeah, I'm with you. This is looking like a bearish open. So our first 5-minute candle is already in. So that 5-minute opening range break, it looks like it's already broken to the downside.
Yep.
Would you ever take a scalp, Barbie, of like breaking overnight low?
I do a lot. It's the same thing where I want the more things are lined up in that area, the better. And we don't have a lot lined up right now, but the mid-century figures on ES have been really important in general. And so I'm watching that overnight at 59.55, thinking that's really close to 59.50. So that could be a spot. I'm still worried about CHOP. because we talked about, I think Forrest talked about this today, how we don't have any major news planned. There are some Fed speakers, but it's just ongoing Fed speak. They're not saying anything about the Fed rate. They're just speaking at conferences and things. So we'll see. We could end up with a choppy day, but I said that yesterday too. We had a gorgeous run. I'm just wondering if we kind of travel down into some of that trading from yesterday that we just blasted through, though. So that would line up with this bearish move here.
Yeah, this is looking good for not advice, you guys. Don't ever copy any of our trades. But like this to me is looking like a good scalp if we break overnight low. I would hop into this trade. So I am waiting for my live account, you guys. It's so exciting. So hopefully in a few days, I'll be able to trade the live account with MyFundedFutures. But yeah, if I could trade that account right now, I probably would put in like a stop market order below right around like 390-ish, hoping for like just a 10-point scalp.
10 breakout short you're looking for?
The overnight low of 393 to break, if we break it. It's looking bearish right now. So the last few days, we have definitely been trading in a range. I was looking at the daily too, and it has just been massive bull for the last like 20 trading days, which is kind of a long time, right? Like, so we'll see. It could be chop. I agree. I hope not. But maybe like a Fed speaker might say one little thing at a conference, and then all of a sudden we drop like 200 points.
And it could just be that the market just wants to go where it wants to go too. Sometimes there's just room. So
yeah,
go to 21.3, call it 21.301, and then, well, really, here's what I think. I think ES is going to finish this pattern, right, or continue this pattern, come down, test this trend line ish. Let's check the VP on that actually.
Oh, can we see your
yeah,
chart?
we just hit that NASDAQ level on the
low.
downside.
Yeah, so we just broke it.
Overnight low just got touched. ES overnight low. So on NQ, we did have this sweep of the high down candle, right, which should bring us to the other side, to the next key level, right, which would be overnight low. Then again, I don't think we're going to hit prior day low on NQ. We could, we'll see, but I do think that ES is likely to continue this pattern, and then NQ. The way, this reminder, I think ES is the dog, NQ is the tail. So even though I talk about NQ, I literally all my trades I focus on ES, guys.
Well, I like how you brought your chart up, because you always see my chart with the two of them together. Like that's one of my favorite charts. So, and you had yours up earlier too.
So I think this node, see how there's an auction there? I think we're going to do that, right? That would be my A thesis on the day. Anything outside of that is obviously possible, but less tradable.
That's kind of what I'm looking at too, because I don't know what your level is on that on ES, but I was looking around 59.25.
Yeah, 59. I have 15.
You're a little bit below that.
Just this node, whatever this auction is. Something that I did for a while, obviously I have them on, it would be weird to do it on stream, is trading without the price scale. I do not recommend it if you're a new trader. If you're trading based off of VP and like actual like price action and what's happening on your screen though, and you have enough leverage, right? You kind of have to have a big kid account. You can trade without the price scale, right? And turn your P&L off, and you will trade better because you're not looking, you're truly just trading your setups at that point. So that's an idea for some of you guys. But yeah, I think we're gonna come down to this auction and then bounce. And then NQ in kind. NQ again is the tail of the dog. It wags a little bit more. It's a little more volatile. We just touched that overnight low. So I'm thinking 29.301. I'll put a little arrow there for those of you guys ish today. But I'm really not, per usual, even though we hit overnight low, like that would be my first place. I was asking, typically like overnight low, like that would be the first place that I would look to long, right? And you can see that it reacted, which I was curious about your breakout, short idea. It's fine. I do think over time we're going to come down here. I would have, and I considered, I didn't take it, shorted off of this 4-hour close last night. I did not do that though. So I'm just.
Well, ES has not swept that low yet. That's what I'm still watching over there.
Yeah. So I'm
gotten
hands off
close, but
today until we get to probably the other side of this. I really want to play along. If I can get another couple 100 points long, really that's what I'm thinking. Honestly, my plan was today is like I just want to position long again. If I can catch the low of the day, that'll probably be the low, the next low for the week. Like the low of the week is probably down here, 111. But today's low probably won't get swept, is what my thesis on the week. So if I get the low of today, I can hold it until Friday. It's kind of what I'm thinking right now. So that's my plan. And I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to execute that plan.
I like it. I like how you really try and get a good price. Like you've told us on other shows, you try and buy like the lows, right? And then you try and sell the highs. And so your risk reward is so much bigger than like, I tend to want to do like breakout trades. So it's not such a great RR.
Yeah.
And I'm wrong often. So I like what you're saying.
Well, I would say that like win rate, and this is where like, I don't think win rate matters. It doesn't matter, actually. The only thing that matters in trading is profit factor, right? We all know you could lose 9 trades today. And that doesn't, there's no information on how much money you lost, right? I just said you lost 9 trades. And then you could win 1 trade and you could make $1 million. Like
that's why the breakout trades are nice though, because when they do go, they really go.
Yes, they go fast, which I like. Like
well,
it's just
I try to balance having both, to be honest. It's hard.
Yeah.
But
The flip side of that is I mean, that's fine. I try to break out trade as little as possible personally, just because of the risk. Like the risk on a short right now is prior day high. Like it just has to be. So if I short right now instead of shorting up here, like my stop realistically, is going to be the last man in this auction, which is 21,562. It's a lot. So it's not bad. Like I could go to a lower time frame, which I know you trade on the lower time frames, Terri. So that makes sense. And then I could find a better, stop, maybe like POC or something like that. But with how I trade and like going for these, I'm trying to trade from like edge to edge. Literally, I'm trying to go from like the sweep of the prior day low and then hold to like the other side. Trading in the middle is just like a surefire way to get smoked. So
yeah. Speaking of that, we're just kind of barcoding on the 5 minute. So no trade, right? Is that what you're thinking, Barbie? Like no trade.
I haven't been able to get excited about anything because I was watching this get real bullish, but yeah, it doesn't have that enthusiasm, I guess.
No, it seems pretty balanced. Yeah, I was looking at this thinking, would I take a 15-minute like orb trade off this? I don't know. Yeah.
It's making me more and more nervous just because of how sluggish it's being and because we've been so bullish. So sometimes the trade is waiting for us for this bear trade to run and not participating in it and waiting for that other side of it that we were talking about. So I was looking on the 1 hour where we have, you can really clearly see that big up move we made yesterday. And could we retrace some of it? I mean, we retrace those big impulsive moves a lot, but sometimes it's kind of hard to tell exactly how far it'll go because we're still in that bullish mode. And so that's when it can be worthwhile. It's frustrating sometimes, but to be patient and wait for the inhale, like let the market exhale and get it on the inhale.
Yeah.
So sometimes what we have to do.
Right. To me, that's one of the hardest things about trading is like that patience and being able to recognize what type of day it is. And then not only to be able to recognize it, but and then to be able to execute based on that.
And sometimes you're wrong. And that feeling you get afterwards, like if you sit out and then it makes that beautiful run, it's like, but at the same time, you do have to be confident and comfortable in your trades or it's kind of a mess. So,
yeah. So like a few months ago, I was watching some really good traders like streaming and I was trading at the same time. And I don't ever, not once have I ever copied someone else's trade. Like sometimes we might be in the same trade because we're just thinking the same at that moment. But like, so I was in a trade, this trader was in a trade and we were on the same side. By the end of the hour, I had lost a bunch of money because I went in and out like multiple times.
Yeah.
And what I realized is this really good trader only put on like 1 or 2 trades. And I'm like, we're looking at the same exact market. And yet I lost like all this money in my funded accounts. And this person like is sitting pretty with like a few thousand. And that can be the difference, right? Like just sitting on your hands.
Definitely when you're hopping in and out and doing that over trading, it's a recipe for disaster. So the sooner you recognize that and get out of that, whether it's walking away or actually doing good trades. Yeah. We've all been there. I've done that. I bet Forrest has done that. He's probably spent a lot of years working that out of his system.
It feels like another step. Like it seems like there are all these different skills that makes you a really good trader. And it's like learning, okay, so this is a piece of it, of being patient, being able to like be okay with missing moves and being okay with sitting on our hands and like, because that's the FOMO. It's like, oh, but maybe
I've gotten okay with missing moves though, because I know that there's just so much opportunity. Even if I miss everything today, there's going to be more opportunity, because what happens is I have a lot of average days that I call my B days, but then when I have my A days, my great days, they are magnificent. Like I will make in one day what I used to make in 1 month. Mm-hmm. So like it all works out. That's why I don't focus on the daily goals so much, because maybe I'll only make a few $100s every day for a week, and then the next Tuesday I'll make $10,000. You know, like it all balances out.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Barbie, because like that's something that I feel like is so important for new traders and intermediate traders to understand how, and not just understand, but like fully accept that some days we're going to make a ton of money. And then some days it's going to be like $50 like, or negative.
And sometimes it's like your buddy in your trading chat nails the day, and it may not even be how big the market moves. It's just how in the zone and how well you nail it. Because I'll have somebody trading the same idea as me and they nail it that day and I don't, but then we'll switch it another day and I'll nail it and they won't.
Yeah. So really just focus on your own game.
Yeah. I've made every mistake that could be made at some point. So in terms of like, have I done it? Yeah, 100%. I missed that. I was sidetracked for a second, but I promise I've made every mistake. The goal is to try to not make the same mistakes over and over again. You know?
Yeah. To improve. And I think every outstanding trader has made all of the mistakes. Like there's just no way you can.
That's how you learn.
Exactly. And
so is the L a loss or is the L a learn?
Yeah.
You can switch it into a learn.
2 L's. Make it W.
There you go.
2 L's equals a win. So it looks like we are trading towards the low, you guys. We're down 0.71% in the NASDAQ right now. Looking bearish so far. We haven't really tested above the highs of the open, right? The open.
You know what I want to show? I don't know if y'all can show mine. This is something I look at. I don't have my little line chart up, easy to share right now, but we do have the VIX. Intraday is making the nice little reverse correlation move that we had on the indexes over here. So that is definitely happening.
Oh, that's
I'm always watching the crisscross. Maybe I do have that chart. Is it over here? This chart's crazy right now. Let me fix it. Yeah, here's my little line chart. So this is what I do the comparison chart, and I have a video on how to make this, but I have the VIX in orange and then ES and NASDAQ in the other colors. And so you'll watch the indexes move together and the VIX move away. And when I glance at this and I'm in a position, like if I was in a long here and I saw the VIX moving away, I feel real good. Mm-hmm. And so we have the opposite thing here where the VIX is moving higher and the indexes are moving lower. So I really like this little comparison chart.
So when you see this, Barbie, with the VIX going higher like that and then the market going lower, you're thinking more like bearish for the day. Is that
definitely? I'm watching that was a 1 minute, but I'm watching the 5 minute VIX on this first one I showed you. I think this is the 5 minute. Yeah, this is the 5 minute. So I'm literally on a 5 minute VIX. So this isn't necessarily for the day. This is for the current 5 minute chart. But the current 5-minute ES and NASDAQ are both moving lower, and that's supported by the VIX moving higher. So the market all makes sense right now on this move lower. It's all supported. So.
Yeah, and just a reminder, if anyone's listening, can you give us a quick summary about the VIX?
Yeah. So the VIX is the volatility index, and I'll make it larger here. Basically, it's showing it's the fear index. That's its nickname for good reason. The higher it is, the more fear and scariness there is in the market, and then when it moves down, that's the less. And I know Forrest has showed a lot of the marked up charts, but the 19 level was actually one that we were watching. If I go out to the hourly, you can kind of see it on here. It's kind of the 20 to 19 area, like that was support, and then we're beneath it now. So the lower the VIX moves, the higher the market can move in general. So I really like it when we have a good, strong reverse correlation. The markets are moving together, at least the ES and the NASDAQ. But right now, all the markets are kind of moving together. We're ignoring the dollar right now for reasons I can talk about if y'all really want to. But
yeah, I actually do want to hear about the dollar.
well, I was going to talk to so I'll go into that in the education because I have some slides that I'll show you for that. So I don't know if we're probably not ready for that yet, are we?
We can do it. Do you guys want to do a giveaway before education?
Yeah, there we go. That's what I thought.
Who wants to do a giveaway? Let me know. Type in Y if you want a giveaway, you guys, before education. Yes. What do you think, Barbie? Before education?
Let's do it.
Forrest?
Terri?
What do you think? Giveaway before education or after?
Yeah, let's give the people some fish and then we'll teach them how.
All right, you guys. What are we at for likes? 369. Yeah. Let's get it up to, how about, oh, I see it's creeping up. Let's get it to 400. I want to do this giveaway, you guys, before education. 30 more. We can do it. Let's do it.
Almost there.
Oh, Mr. Mocha said no. Doesn't want us to do a giveaway.
Put some cotton in your ears.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, guys. We're at 425 likes. Let's do the giveaway. Okay, everyone get ready. It's going to be for 50 resets.
Get ready. A reset. Go get it ready. La 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 la.
Okay, who wants to drop it? Barbie, do you want to drop it?
Yeah, I can drop it. Well, we're gonna put it on the screen, right?
Yep.
All right. The second it's on the screen, I'm gonna read it out. I think I know what it is, but dun 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 dun. Drum roll, please. Da, 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 da. Where is it?
Let's drop the giveaway. There
Terry's gift. They always say that somebody sees it before we read it, so it's doing it at the same time. The code is Terry's gift. TerrisGift. 50 resets. 50 of you are getting resets.
Thank you, MyFundedFutures. So awesome. All these giveaways. Love it. All right. Let us know if you snagged one in chat.
Yeah, I want to see I got it.
Winning, you guys. I love it. Oh, Yvonne.
There we go. We got some got it. Once it says coupon not found, 50 people already got it.
Roboto got it. Yeah. If you didn't get one, stay tuned because we have more coming up. Barbie, do you want to show us the education?
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Well, okay, so the reason that I was inspired to do this today, we were talking yesterday about how Moody cut America's credit rating. And I just wanted to understand more about this. So I was kind of doing some reading about this. And this is stuff that I've always kind of wanted to understand, but it's like big economic stuff. And so it can be kind of intimidating. But I used to always use the dollar as my VIX kind of. When the VIX was really, really low, around 12, 13 a year ago or more, it wasn't what I just showed you about how the VIX has a really good reverse correlation with the indexes, we didn't have that with the VIX so much because it was so low, but we did have it with the US dollar. And right now we don't. So I've been personally kind of wondering that. And then I knew that this credit rating had something to do with it. So I went and looked into this. And so usually the US dollar and the indexes have that reverse correlation. And so do the bonds. So I have two charts up here. The one on the left is DXY. This is the US dollar index. And then on the right, I have TYX, which is the 30-year Treasury bond yield. And these are the daily charts. So usually these move together. So if the US dollar is moving down, and I have these synced, so you can see my crosshair over there. The US dollar is moving down, the Treasury yields move down. And when the US dollar moves up, the Treasury yields move up. And what's happened right now is what the big smart economists call uncoupling. So instead of having this great correlation, now we have the dollar moving down, but the Treasury yields are moving higher. And the reason that the dollar, well, okay, so I've talked about this before, how if you have a hedge fund and your charter says that you have to have 80% of your funds active and working at all times, or whatever it is, you have to have those funds at work even when the stock market sucks. So we just had a big downturn with all the tariff news, lots of volatility, lots of uncertainty. If you have to have that money at work, where are you going to put it if you want to try to find something more certain? And so there's different places you can put it. One of them is bonds. It's a really obvious one. Even governments, other governments and other institutions, everybody's playing in bonds. This is a global market for our bond market. And so is our dollar. But when we have this uncoupling, this is showing instability, basically. So what Moody was looking at is we have uncoupling of the US dollar to the bond yields, because the dollar is getting weaker. It's still moving down while the Treasury yield is moving up. And so that's showing us instability. It's not real good for the market to have that sort of thing. Usually, if you're a foreign investor, for the foreign investors are looking in the stock market in general. So usually you're pretty safe in a lot of our, blue chips and our things like that. So why are the bonds increasing when everything else? Now we have the stock market moving up too. We have the market moving up and the bonds moving up. So that's to go into this instability that Moody was saying. And that's the reaction that we're having on that side. Of course, the market is kind of like, who cares right now? But I'm still kind of watching this. I'm watching how we're at the top of our kind of extensions on the indexes, getting into oversold territory while all this was happening. So that's why I'm getting kind of more cautious of continuing to move higher without some sort of retracement or something like that. So what we can look for as trading, and so one of the key factors is this bond yield moving past 5%, by the way. So if you want to take notes on that, it's when we have the 10-year bond yield moving over 5%, and we're hovering right there. So we can kind of look at that as being, a support level right now too. So maybe that'll settle down a little bit, but right now we're in this kind of crazy environment. So what we need to pay attention to, since we're at this 5% level, is this going to be a longer term trend that we're watching? Or is this going to kind of start correcting itself? And I bet the Fed's watching this really, really hard right now. They're always watching the employment data and the unemployment data, but I bet they're watching this really, really hard right now. And this is going to be playing into the Fed's decision of how to help control inflation with interest rates and things. So it does kind of, if you can get some ideas on how this is going to potentially react, we've got some potential trades that we can do in Forex on the currencies. If the dollar is going to be weaker compared to other currencies, there's that sort of trade. Is it going to recover? That there's a trade idea there. And then in the bond markets too, we could have some. Do you think the bonds are going to come down now that we're hitting this 5%, or is that going to trigger a move higher? So there are some potential trades in there, but I was also just personally curious, like why when I go over to my little chart, because if I was streaming a year ago, we were probably watching the dollar have a good reverse correlation, and I probably had a green line on my line chart instead of the orange VIX one. But that's why. So it's this uncoupling, and that's the driving force behind the caution of the Fed and the credit ratings and all of that right now. Forrest is telling us gold is ripping, huh?
Yeah,
Look at gold.
I got 17 points long on gold just on that little rip there.
Oh, nice.
Do you want me to tell you? I can show you what I was trading this morning because I already took this.
Yeah, show us the gold trade. Thanks,
Let me
Barbie.
take my little orb tool off of here real quick because this was before the market opened. But I was sitting here just, looking at the chart, seeing what was going on, and I happened to see gold kind of breaking out. We had kind of this level here that was forming overnight around 32, 44, 45. And I was just watching us kind of come up to that level and break it. I just took a quick little scalp through here and got that off. My rudder got stopped at break even, but I did get a quick little trade through there. And now we're kind of breaking out again off that same level. It came back down and retested it, and now it's breaking out again. This is actually a pretty nice little trade on gold. I mean, we could probably look at like 80 up here, 32.80.
That 32.50 or 55 area, like just tapping the glass. And I was curious, like originally I was looking at it, I was like, is this gonna reject? And then just the way it pushed into that level, I'm looking at the 1 hour. There was like green and then another green, and I was like, oh, it's about to break the glass.
You see it, like it's tested this a bunch. You can see all these wicks, and here it goes. So we're just talking about the power of breakout trades. There it is.
I know. I said I rarely take a breakout. Rarely.
You took it. So do you guys? So do you guys trade like whatever market is?
I don't usually trade gold. I stick to ES, but I was kind of annoyed with where ES was a little bit, and I was just kind of trolling around. I'll go look at crude, and gold is kind of my new thing. I'm not usually a gold trader. I just took it in micros. I took the MGCs in one of my accounts this morning.
I just took one mini. The only reason I'm looking at gold, I'm not going to lie, is because you guys bring it up. I never look at this chart, but hey, thank you.
Well, the chat keeps bringing it up too, and now we're at all-time highs and having these little breakouts, so it's been working out. Yeah,
it's ripping up here. I cut too early. We are approaching 32.70, which we'll get a reaction here to this previous high as well. If we zoom out, let's look at the VP here. Whose chart is up? Is it me? Okay.
You're on your now.
Yeah, so we're in low value, which if you think about where a breakout would make sense, we're escaping this auction. We're ripping through low value. There's no one here. There's people here. There's less people here. But compare the amount of people, for example, at this set of prices versus here. It's almost 3 times as many people where we've consolidated, right? Look how much consolidation was at these prices historically. So we've escaped that auction and we're ripping, right? So 32, no, we just ripped through 70. So there's that high. It's the first place I would expect it to get a little reaction. But you can see the next node is way up here, guys, on gold. Way up there. So that would be my upside target if this is going to continue. Now, technically, if we look at our technicals, there is like a little trend line like right there. It could do something. I'm not going to hold anything, just being self-aware. I don't trade gold that often, like I said. So I don't have a feel for it like I do NQ and ES. But it doesn't really change what I'm seeing, but it's
just running right now. I think I got a magic level up here around the 75, and then we've got another level up at 80.
Yeah, but I was taking a look.
This is a good breakout.
Look at how bullish this run was here, right?
When it runs.
It really runs, and we
just hit the 75.
Moving. Yeah, I usually don't.
I wish I was still in it now.
I usually don't trade gold either, and like I did take a gold trade like a few days ago, and it just totally ran in my favor. So when you guys think about trading gold, is there something about like fear, inflation, and so people go into gold?
Yeah. So what I was just talking about, how people will, if you have to have your funds invested, either because you want to or you have to, Bonds are one place, gold's another. So is Bitcoin. But,
Mhm.
Gold's a little more, I don't want to say grown up, but you know what I mean? Established,
It's like a safety trade.
respected.
Right? Like
Yeah.
people think of it as like a hedge, safety hedge a little bit.
Mhm.
What do you guys think about doing another giveaway?
Well, I love that. More gold for everybody, huh? As long as chat's being good. Is chat being good? I saw some arguing and I wanted to go crack some
Oh
skulls. I was going to go crack some skulls in there, but y'all got it all worked out now, right?
no, good. No arguing. Let's be positive, encouraging. Let's learn.
The great thing about this is every single one of us can make money. If I make money, that doesn't mean Terri can't. Like, we can all eat here.
Yes, abundance. Let's get it to 500, you guys. We're at about 466 likes. Make sure you subscribe and like. And you do have to be a subscriber to win one of these giveaways. So make sure you subscribe. I think we're over at 11,000 subscribers. I can't see it exactly. Yes, that's awesome. Okay, so just want to give you guys a preview of our giveaways for the rest of the show. So our next one is going to be for 50 free resets. And then I'm going to save the best for last. We are going to give away 50 free Starter Plus accounts.
Be ready for that one.
These, right? Oh my gosh. Starter Plus. Like, I love this.
So if you want resets, you're covered. If you want accounts, you're covered.
We're almost at 500. Let's see it, guys. Push.
Push.
All right.
Oh my God, it's $4.99.
Oh, come on. Push it over, you guys.
I already liked it, or I would. There it is. Shows it online. Y'all got it? Y'all got 500?
Okay, so let's do the 50 free resets on 3. Oh, wait. What do you guys think the code is? Any guesses? I have no idea, honestly. I have no idea. Maybe it's gold bug is my guess.
Y'all are keeping them on their toes, trying to guess codes. They can't make the codes until right before.
What's your best guess, Forrest?
Is the code subscribe to all of our YouTube channels?
Barbie?
Yeah.
Yours? Best guess.
I think I was wrong.
Barbie 69. That's all I got right now.
You need the sparkly hat. Okay.
That's the problem.
There we go. All right, let's drop the code on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
50 barbs. 50 barbs.
Close.
Oh, and oil hit, or not oil. I'm used to saying oil. Gold hit the 80 level.
Yeah, it's ripping.
It's ripping. Wow, that is the chart. That is the product to be trading today. So NQ is just still barcoding.
It's coming down. It should do. So remember, mentioned earlier, right? We swept that low, and then it came back and it retested the POC. It rejected POC. So it failed to traverse this auction fully. So we should get this continuation down from here at this point. So, if you shorted and were, held that for a while, you would have been in drawdown, but you should be green now.
That's the barcode effect.
Yeah.
It should come down to at least 300 is my anticipation. We might get a little bit more juice out of that. We'll take a look at ES here. ES pushing into this level again, same thing, came and retested point of control, grabbed people at the center point of the auction, and it should continue. And we have GC ripping up.
I'm just looking at it stayed below VWAP the whole time. It retested VWAP and could not get above. That's a pretty good sign that we're not moving higher right now.
Yeah.
And I kind of shift the market up into blocks a little bit. I've talked about this with the time frame a little bit. And I think Forrest does too. We've kind of got that initial open period, and then we've got when Europe is settling down and closing, and then it's just the US market. It's kind of the next phase, and it's either a continuation or a change. So
Mm-hmm. Do you guys ever look at like initial balance at all? Is that ever something you look at?
I used
I
to.
have. It hasn't made the to-do list lately.
Yeah. When I see days like this, it's really interesting. I've noticed that sometimes how we get to price from A to B. So sometimes it's like really quick, right? Like each bar, it doesn't overlap. And then there are other days like today where it's barcodes, but it slowly makes its way down or slowly makes its way up, like what you were saying, Forrest. I feel like on those days, like today, it's really buying small and then just holding it, like and hands off and not trying to do some erratic trading. Not that I've ever done that before.
I would have taken a full size short if I had the price I wanted, but I'm not shorting on principle. Like I could chase this. The risk, like the alpha on the trade is just bad.
For me, it's the stress, because we've all been there. You've entered the trade where you're supposed to, where you had your responsible limit order, and you've entered trades where you've chased. And which one is comfortable to hold, where you can sit there and feel good because you're trailing a stop that's you can get into break even or better? Or is it the one that you can't move your stop because you had a bad entry, and so you're sitting there sweating the whole time? And so the way I look at it is, which trade would I rather take? I don't like being involved in the stressful ones. I've got other things to stress me out.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys use
add to it?
Would you use like limit orders to help with that? Like,
I use limit orders a lot.
Yeah,
because it keeps me from like doing that in the moment, in the heat of the moment, second guessing. I will use market orders. I mean, they work on the indexes, but if we're looking for a break, I just put my limit order there and sit back, and then I can adjust my brackets when I need to. But
yeah,
I'm always subscribed to think to work smarter, not harder. So
100%.
I like that. Forrest, you too?
I market in most of my trades. I won't lie. Like when I see the setup, like I just press the button as fast as I can, and I don't want to miss getting in just because I'm trying to get like a tick. But again, the RR on my trades is always something stupid.
But at the same time, I miss things because I hesitate on market orders sometimes. So sometimes I think, and this is probably like a personal style thing, but if I have that limit order sitting there, then I don't have to worry about myself hesitating and second guessing it at the last second.
Yeah, I use it for like my overnight trades. Like if I have a really good read on what's gonna happen, I'll set a limit and I'll just walk away. I'll set a bracket and I'll just let it do its thing. But if I'm here, like whenever I'm here looking at the charts, like I just mark it in. You know, if I'm gonna be, might as well just do the work. You know.
Yeah, I typically.
But I've spent a lot of times in options where if you mark it in, you're screwed. So.
Oh yeah, the spread in when you're buying and selling.
I traded like even before the splits. I was trading Amazon and Tesla and Google before their splits. So the spreads on them were $200. So you get the wrong side of the spread, you're already negative. And
well, I
come
do
back for the spread.
So I recommend if you're gonna scalp, this is really in the weeds. So I use interactive brokers as a tool because there's executions are super fast, and I have a bunch of macros set up for like different lot sizes.
I love their algos. Actually, I'm always harping on interactive brokers algos for getting you in.
Yeah, so you could do like if I wanted to get like 200 lots, like I literally had a hotkey for every different lot size. I could do like 10 cons, 100 cons, 200 cons, and it just depends on like how expensive. Like I'm trading something that's super cheap, like 30 cents versus $3 or $30, but like I could get in and out stupidly fast. I could close, like everything was on a hotkey, so I could scalp like without having.
I can't do that because cats walk through here.
We should totally do a segment sometime about like setting up hotkeys, and I think a lot of people might find that interesting. Like I don't use hotkeys, but I've heard lots of people talk about it, and it sounds like
I ended up putting them on my Stream Deck because the cats are less likely to step on the Stream Deck. But
I did one for fun for trading view. Like I have the Stream Deck. What's the small white one? I can't remember. It's around here somewhere for like getting in and out. I never use it, but I did it for.
It got taken over with actual streaming things. It's my little soundboard now, but
pretty easy to set up. I recommend it for like things like going flat. And here's how
yeah, I have to have a cancel and exit button. That makes me feel so good. Like just flatten everything, panic button. I
Yeah.
love the panic button.
I've gotten screwed, like to the point of making mistakes. I've also just gotten screwed by every broker, like tools. Like I lost 30K on Webull once because their platform was just down for 7 minutes. And so like I have accounts at like tons of different brokerages. I have like the hotlines of anywhere you have money, you should have their phone number, FYI, like to a person who can close a trade for you or open a trade. And it's just because I've been burned literally every way you can get burned in the game. I have been burned. And so I just like have adjusted for that reason. So multiple redundancies. I pay for 2 internets everywhere. I pay for 2 internets here. I have 2 internets at my house. Both like I pay 2 gigabit internet at every location that I trade from because I refuse to not be able to execute because I've been burned by my internet being down.
What do you do when you travel, Forrest?
Trade less is what I should do. I have a virtual private server as well that I can trade out of. But when I travel, I try to not trade when I'm traveling so much now.
Yeah.
For the one reason that I lost $500,000 when I was in Egypt. So
I try to set everything up so it doesn't need me if I'm actually on vacation. But if I'm traveling and still working, I've got it set up to where I can remote desktop into my good trading computer. Because I'm always afraid like my internet connection is going to be too slow. But the home one's good. So if I put a limit order in on that one, it'll work.
the thing I learned with travel trading is like the internet will be fast. It'll be fine. But it's not, the uptime isn't good. So you're like at a hotel and it's like, it always glitches out right at the worst possible moment. Nothing happens when it's convenient.
I don't use the hotel internet anymore. It never works well enough.
I've actually thought about getting a Starlink and like traveling with it.
Yeah, we are getting. Yeah, we have an AT&T, but I'm gonna switch it for the Starlink Mini. I just haven't yet, but
yeah.
I have to have a backup internet connection at my house because I've got this stupid country spectrum situation out here, and gotta have backup.
Do you have backup power too? That's something I've thought about
I have
too,
some,
guys.
Yeah, I mean, we have a limited time, but you know, if we actually have power go, we've had power during the horrible storms. We lost power for days, and so we can't be. I'm not going to be trading if the power's out for days. But I have it set up to where I can finish trades. I can get myself closed out in a worst case scenario. That's important too.
Yeah. I remember Linda Raschke in one of her interviews, she was talking about how when she was running a firm managing other people's money, she actually went and opened up another office in a different state, in a different city, like so that to have that redundancies, like in case everything just shuts down. Some
people rent virtual cloud machines, and I looked at that. I basically have my own setup at my house, but I'm able to do that because I'm a nerd and there's other nerds around here. So we got a pretty nerdy setup. So I'm able to do that. But if you don't have that set up, you can rent that space. You can rent it cloud space. We just created our own cloud space, but
that's so cool. It's all the details that like we just don't always think about, but it's so
important. Yeah, this is what I try to explain to people too. You start out just trading on one platform, on one little thing, but then you start adding all of these things. So we're doing scouts, doing slower trades, doing futures, doing options, and doing it on multiple accounts. But I didn't start there. I started trading one account with one strategy, and it's just built.
That's suffering. Yeah, but it's all the redundancies I have sound crazy. I was listening them off, but it literally is just through learned experience.
When you do it one at a time, yeah, it's not this massive thing.
And like Forrest, it sounds like part of the redundancies, it's from bad experiences, and it's like, oh, okay, I have to have these redundancies now.
Even opportunity costs. This has happened to me, and I hope like there's a trade you want to get into, but like your platform's down. So it's like, it's not even you lost money, but you lost the opportunity to make money because the internet was down. Like some things, it doesn't matter what it is. I've just made it to where I can always get in and out of positions, hell or high water, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I get
that's why I have multiple brokers too, because there are outages.
I want to be able to.
Yeah. So I heard you talk about opportunity costs. For people who don't know what an opportunity cost is, it's like an economic term. Forrest, do you want to share that with
Oh,
chat?
is it? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just jumping in. Is it that?
Well,
I think about
just
it.
make sure everyone understands.
I think about it in business, right? So when I'm talking to my team, so I'm also the COO here at a production company. I wear many hats, but an opportunity cost is basically what can you not do because you're doing something else, right? So it's not a hard fixed cost. For example, because I'm trading here live right now, I'm not running my business. That's a decision that I've made. So in the morning, there's people, you guys probably see me when I'm muted talking to people in the background, right? There's stuff happening. That's an opportunity cost, right? But I've decided that this is more fun and worthwhile to run my business for the first hour and a half of the day, right? And so if we have major clients come in and like our business, we serve a lot of like celebrities and stuff like that. I just can't talk to them. Right? I have to rely on my team. That's the opportunity cost. So it's the same thing with trading. It's like I didn't lose money, but the internet's down. I also didn't make money. And what if it's like imagine you're waiting for like your A setup. 60 days goes by. The A setup's there, and then your internet's down. Like that sucks. That sucks a lot.
I had that happen a lot because they were doing construction out here, and I would just wake up and everything was down, and I was just getting so frustrated.
It's so frustrating. So like, it's the opportunity cost of, okay, am I going to pay an extra $100 every month for another internet super
That's what
high
we do.
speed? Right. And for the upside, the opportunity cost, if I don't do it, then I could be missing out on tens of thousands of dollars potentially if, we have some major massive move. It reminds me of some people I've known where you don't want to hire out like someone to, let's say, mow your lawn. And it's one thing if you like to mow your lawn, right? Like that's awesome. But I know some people who absolutely hate it, but like there's an opportunity cost to that, like paying someone, let's say $50 to mow your.
I always encourage someone to get a housekeeper because the way I look at it, it's going to take me half a day, all day to clean my house as well as a professional house cleaner could do. And I'll make a lot more money in one day than I will pay a housekeeper to come here for a few hours and do it. So,
and they're professionals. They're so good at it. So they
do a better job. They're faster, and it frees my time up to go make more money to pay them. So,
yeah, exactly. I love this conversation. We are learning and sharing how to like make some big money, like not a little bit like big, like thinking bigger, right? Than just like, I don't know, hourly maybe, which like thinking big, really big. So it looks like price is still barcoding. So I'm glad we talked about like sitting on our hands this morning. We still have one giveaway, the one that we've been saving the best for last. Free account, you guys, a 50K starter plus. What should we get the likes up to be? We're at 521 right now.
I don't know. Who has forgotten to like? Think we can get to 550? Is that too ambitious?
I think we can do 550 for sure. Right? I think we can do 550. Let's do it. Let's do it, you guys. 550. 535.
So this is for everyone who's been waiting for the free accounts because these are 50K starter plus.
Yeah, it's free. The whole account.
You're complaining about resets earlier. Now's your time.
Oh, we got it.
All right.
Awesome job, guys. All right, let's drop the giveaway. Everyone get ready. I'll give you a minute to get ready. Yeah, today the market just barcoding, except for gold. Gold looked amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were both kind of looking at that one today. That one's nice.
Barbie and Forrest, you guys made more money.
It's beyond where I was looking too. If I had stayed in it, I would have exited here. So
all right.
It's been real tight trailing.
I marked it on my chart, but 3301 is my upside target here, the little low value.
Woo!
20% of this gap.
It's just gone vertical. All right, on 3, let's drop the giveaway. 1, 2, 3.
Let's trade 50.
50. Let's trade 50. 50K starter plus.
I want to
Okay.
see who got it.
Let's see who got it. Let us know.
Perfect Play is here. I need to get him.
Got
on.
it.
Let's
Dylan
go.
got it. Oh no, wait. Sorry. Rowan got it.
We got Gabriel. Oh, Tomas, you're fake. Not fake. There we go. There's some more.
Some more. Awesome. So final thoughts for the day. What do you guys think? Yeah, Forrest.
I'm looking at premiums right now. I'm curious if we get an end of day run, like this expected move that I'm looking for might be an end of day gamma trade. So there's two things I'm thinking. If we're gonna chop into lunch, I think get a very late like zig and then a zag. This POC right now is getting built up a lot, right? So it's just going to be a massive magnet at this point. It's 10:30. If we don't move soon, if we do move, it's going to get sucked back to this price. And so I'm looking for an options trade. Gamma trades, I don't have time to explain it, but it's just a setup that it's how I refer to certain trades where I'm like playing the gamma ramp for quick moves and options premiums, right? I'll give you like quick 400 or 500% on a trade, but nonetheless, it's essentially a mean reversion trade with options. So I'm looking at premiums right now on SPX to see what IV is, and yeah, we'll consider doing that. So key thing for me is how are we looking coming into around 1 p.m. today? I usually say 2, but because we're so choppy, I want to see around like 1:15, 1:30 if we're going to start to get a move if we don't do it now. And I do mean like right, like now, like it needs to be very soon, like even right after we hop off. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's a super chop day. Gold price target 33.01. I've got like 20 or so points out of that. It's a nice little breakout trade, pretty nuts. Got about 50% of this up move. 2 longs. I longed, cut it, and then I relonged, got a little bit more juice. We'll see what we do here. And yeah, ideally, I'm thinking on options because I don't really like a futures trade right here on the indices. It's just not like this chop is booty cheeks, straight booty cheeks. I'd rather prefer a fixed risk, unless if they give me the prices I want, give me to either edge of this, then I'll play the game. But that's what I'm thinking.
Thank you, Forrest. Barbie, final thoughts?
That just reminded me when my kids were really little, like, they have all those weird things they say. One of their little sayings that they came up with when they didn't like something or wasn't going their way, they go, "Oh, booty shakes." That one, I'm keeping that one. I still use that. But, yeah, so okay, well, gold has hit that target. Y'all heard Forrest an extra target on that one, but so I'm still looking at ES, and this is the way I kind of try to look at them. This is one of my approaches to the market. This is harder to trade. This is the hard trade. Do I want to mess with the hard trade? Nah, not really. So it's fine for me personally that I didn't get involved in this barcode mess. If it stops barcoding, that's when I'll get interested. We've kind of made some of this move down, but not the entire move down that I was looking at. So I'll just kind of see what happens if something easier develops. But if it stays hard, like we were talking about earlier, it's okay for this to be a small day because I know that the bigger opportunity is going to come. So I hope that y'all are having a big day, but it's not looking like it's going to be a big day for me, and that's okay. But if we do actually start getting down to some of these levels that I was looking at, really, I mean, I want the 59.25 is what really interests me for a buy down there. But otherwise, I just need to kind of wait for either a breakout to the upside or something that I can buy down here. If it's going to be tricky and hard, I don't want to get involved. So
okay,
where we are right now,
sitting on the hands until the market tells you to do otherwise. Sounds like
until it gives me a setup.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Barbie. Thank you, Forrest. Thank you, chat. This was a great show. Have a great day and hope you guys make lots of more money. I'm going to introduce Ash to the next segment. Hey, Ash. Ooh.
Good morning. How are you doing today? Hello, 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 and welcome back to another live stream. How's everybody's day going so far?
Good, Ash. How's your day going so far?
Doing good. Ready to get another good live stream in.
Do you know what OOTD stands for?
0 day till expiration.
No, silly pants. Outfit of the day. Because
Outfit
Ash
of
is
the
looking
day.
clean today. Fresh haircut, clean shirt, ready to trade. I dig it.
Ready to go for another good session. How's your day going so far?
Great. Having a great day today. We're having some fun. Interesting market today. I'm curious to hear your take on it. Give us a little bit of preview, Ash, for the next hour. What all can we expect? What assets are you looking at? What are you going to talk us through, etc.?
I'm going to go over NQ and ES today.
Okay.
I do want to talk about some of the economic news and the calendar specifically. Maybe that can explain some of the barcode that we have here. And then also some identification of when and when not to trade. Today is a very good example of that. So I do want to have that conversation with everyone today.
Because basically what you say each day is force a trade if you don't have one. Is that right?
If you want to blow some accounts, you're probably going to force trades every single day as many times as you can.
All right. So I'm still getting that one wrong, I guess. I don't know. All right. And I got a question for the chat, Ash. Should we do some free resets in this next hour?
I think we got to get those likes up there a little more.
Is it bad?
We're on the little bit of the low end on the likes, so I definitely think we should do some free giveaways, get some resets going. If everybody smashes that like button, we could probably get those resets sooner than we would if you don't smash the like button.
All right. How many what are we at right now?
Let's take a look. We are currently at, looks like we're at 580.
580. Not enough.
Not enough.
All right. And let me ask this one to the chat. Have you shared the stream yet? If you really want to motivate some energy out of Ash, out of your fellow chatters, some free giveaways, sharing the stream is your path to prosperity. I'll tell you that right now. You share it into your Discord, in your X account, etc. That is your path to success. So do so. All right. And then I got one more. Ash, I told you this yesterday. I know that you're a genius and you remember. Free, I'm writing in the chat. You remember, not everybody will. We're not all as smart as you, Ashy. We are running a deal this week until we're out. It's still on right now, but until we're done here, we're running a deal this week that will give users a free reset with any account purchase. That's right, a free reset with any account purchase. Link is in the chat. The code is YouTube. That's also in the chat. So it's basically almost like getting half off. Shh, don't tell anyone I said that. But it's a pretty darn good deal. You can use it up to 3 times. If you do not use all 3 times by the end of the week or whenever this deal sells out and we are done, they go away forever. So you have 3 accounts, any account, free reset. Link is in the chat. Code is in the chat. Take advantage of it. All right. With that, Ash, what are we starting with today?
I'm going to start on NQ. This is what I trade the most, so definitely going to go over NQ to start the session.
Okay, great.
Alrighty, so let's take a look. First things first is the economic calendar. You need to be aware of when there's high impact news drivers. You also need to be aware of when there isn't high impact news drivers. So that's going to kind of explain some of the conversation to start the day. When there is no high impact news drivers, it would be a time to be more patient and selective than normal. And I'll get down to the lower time frames here in a minute, but you could also see it here on the lower time frames. There's nothing clear this morning. Well, I mean, ever since the market opened, we've done a whole lot of nothing. Purely just chopping up, down, up, down. There is no clear direction. Okay, so one of the things that could show you that beforehand, right? Because hindsight does you nothing. It doesn't help provide any value. We need to know how to identify these things in real time before it happens, because that's how we capitalize on it. So one of those things is the economic calendar. On days that do have red folders, those are the days that I do want to participate. We've spoke about it before, and I'll say it again. Those news drivers are volatility injections. That helps price move up and down. Okay, so on days that doesn't have news drivers, I'd like to be more patient and selective than normal. Okay, now also understand when I'm talking in terms of probabilities. There is no guarantee, okay? There's never going to be a guarantee. Thinking that you know exactly what's going to happen within price is very low probability. Price can and will do whatever it wants whenever it wants to, right? So even though I just said when there's no news, there's no volatility, go back to yesterday and see what happened at the open. There was no news yesterday either. This goes to show you that it's a probability. It's not a guarantee. Okay, so taking a look at the economic calendar is important to understand whether we are going to get a directional move or not, have increased volatility or not. The next thing would be displacement, right? Imbalances. Take a look at this morning. Ever since New York Open, we've yet to create a fair value gap, right? A displacement, an imbalance. That could be the second thing that shows you the indecision within price action. Okay, so use those two things as tools to help you understand whether we're getting a directional move or not. Okay? Today it was very clear, in my opinion, that we weren't getting a move in either direction. We've just kind of been going sideways. Okay, so we'll wait and see if we ever get any form of displacement. We will go ahead and point out any type of positions if we find one. But as of right now, I've been flat for the day, and I'm most interested in remaining flat. Seeing that the first news driver on the week is on Thursday, I have no problem waiting and being patient. At some point, you'll understand that every day is not a trading day. You should have a healthy relation with risk, right? If you're coming in here and blowing accounts every single day, you should take a look at your data and maybe make some changes. Okay, so understand that a lot of time is spent doing nothing in this business. And you have to be mentally and emotionally aware enough to be patient and to be on the sidelines when it's time to be on the sidelines. So far this morning has been one of those moments. I don't want to force myself within this choppy, indecisive price action. I'll wait to see if there's any form of displacement. Okay, so that's the first thing. Understanding when to sit out, when to participate. You truly only need 1 to 2 good positions a week to make a difference. Okay, but to move forward, we'll continue to keep analyzing. We'll still go through our session, create our game plan. These are the reasons how or why we do things. So we need to come in here, create our game plan, and execute our game plan every single day, because that's what builds the conviction. That's what builds the muscle memory. Okay, so first I'm going to explain the move lower. I talked about this in my communities. We spoke about this yesterday on yesterday's live stream. How I determine bias. Draw and liquidity, in my opinion, those two things mean the same thing. Whatever price is reaching for, whatever you think price is reaching for, that's what a bias would be, or a draw and liquidity. The way that I create a bias is getting on the daily chart, looking at swing highs, swing lows, and FVGs. Swing highs and bearish FVGs give me a bearish bias. Swing lows and bullish FVGs give me a bullish bias. That explains this morning's move. You can see here that we took out a swing high on the daily chart, right? And more importantly, when we took out this swing high, we closed back inside the range. Okay, so we did not displace through the swing high. If we displaced through the swing high, then it would look like continuation higher. That's not what happened. What happened is we closed back inside the range. So since we closed back inside the range, then we can get down to some lower time frames. I use the hourly chart as a market structure time frame, or higher time frame point of interest. So let's take a look at what happened on our market structure time frame. You can see here when we swept the daily swing high that we had a change in the state of delivery, a change in trend, right? So very simply put, change in the state of delivery is when you change the trend. So here's an uptrend, right? We're making higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs and higher lows. The moment we make a new low, that's a change in trend, right? Change in the state of delivery, whatever you want to call it, change in trend. Okay, so now at the area in which we can develop a bias, the daily swing high, giving us a bearish bias, you can see we get a change in trend at this moment in time when we make a new low. So this would be the change in the state of delivery. So this explains why we got to move lower this morning. We ran above a swing high. After running above the swing high, the trend changed. Okay, so in terms of a bias or a draw on liquidity, the next thing we would look for are equal highs or equal lows. And London session had very nice equal lows here. Very clear here, the equal lows. Right, so you get an idea from the higher time frame. Then you move down to the lower time frame. You can see a very clear target, the London lows. And then that's when you look for a confirmation to that idea. And we've spoke about this before as well. Confirmations to an idea are SMT, a crack in correlation. So you can see that NQ failed to take out the 130 high. You can see that ES did take out the 130 high. That's a bearish SMT. This explains the move lower to the London lows this morning. And go figure, at 9:30 is when they make that move. So time being the most important element. So you get an idea from the higher time frame. you have a clear draw on liquidity with the equal lows. And then time being the most important element, it makes complete sense that they run below those lows there at New York Open. Okay, so that explains the move lower this morning. Now that we got that move lower this morning, I'm no longer interested in lower prices. We are also getting another change in the state of delivery here. Right, so you can see when we ran below those London lows, right, change in trend. We were moving lower. There's like this downtrend here. We have finally gotten displacement above this change in trend. Now I would be looking for higher prices. Be using this as your change in trend. It was done with displacement. That was the next portion of this conversation. Displacement is key. We need displacement across all of our analysis, any type of analysis. We finally get some form of displacement here, right? Displacement is just the presence of an FEJ. For the first time today, we finally get the presence of an FEJ. And so the only liquidity left to be taken, Asia lows already taken out. London lows already taken out. Asia highs are the only thing that are left in terms of identifying a draw on liquidity. So we'll look for a move higher at this point using this area, targeting Asia session liquidity. And this would give a nice risk to reward here. One to two risk to reward. This is what we'll be looking for moving forward today. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments regarding it, feel free to throw it in chat. While we do that, let's make a deal. What do you guys think in terms of likes? How many likes does the stream need to get for some more free resets? Throw it in chat. We're at 611. It has to be a nice increase. We're at 612. It has to be a sizable increase. To get free resets. There's over 500 people in here watching, so if everybody clicks at once, we can make some decent progress. Everybody knows I like 1K likes, so do we go for 1K likes again? Do we go for 1K likes again? Throw a 1 in chat if we do, throw a 2 in chat if we don't. Couple yeses, couple nos, couple 1s, couple 2s, some more 1s, some more 2s. $1K likes it is. There's a bunch of 1s in there, a bunch of W's, a bunch of yeses. So get to 1K likes and we will do some more free resets. Every single stream I've been on here, we were able to get to 1K likes. So it's quite literally the average so far. Let's hit 1K likes again. As we're waiting and watching, we could also go over any questions or comments. So if there's any certain information that you'd like to go over, feel free to throw it in chat. We have the same information here on NQ. I don't need to go over NQ as well. ES and NQ are correlated pairs, so they should be moving the same. This is what we're currently looking at for today's session. Let's see if we can move higher from this location here. Okay, so 1K likes for the free resets. While we're doing that, we'll see if we can get higher prices in ES and NQ. As we're waiting and watching, we can go over any questions or comments. So throw any questions or comments in chat as we wait and watch. Can we go over liquidity? In my opinion, the best form of liquidity is equal highs or equal lows. Okay, so when using equal highs or equal lows, I always want the right side to be the failure swing. Right, so here's equal highs. Notice how the left side is the highest high and the right side is a failure swing. Same thing with equal lows. You always want the right side to be a failure swing. Notice how this did not go below the initial low. It's a failure swing compared to the initial low. Okay, you can see that here. That's why I pointed that out as a target. Okay. The right side is the failure swing. All right. So next thing in terms of liquidity, a lot of people like to use Asia session as a form of liquidity. You can see here Asia session highs. Right? We could let's put on an indicator here to show the sessions. Kill zones. Let's see. Take a look at this one here. And there you go. So notice how, let's take off the other kill zones. Okay, take a look at this. Notice how Asia lows have been taken out. Asia lows. Notice how London lows have been taken out. Notice how Asia highs are the last thing that are left that has not been taken out yet. So Asia session can be a form of liquidity. those are the different liquidities that I would use. Equal highs or equal lows or Asia session. So a very good question for the individual that put that in chat. Let's take a look. Let me go see where the likes are at. Let me hop back over to chat here. And very good job. See, 1K likes. Very good job, chat. So let's get ready for the giveaway. I made a deal. The deal was achieved. So everybody start to get prepared for the giveaway. Everybody yesterday was concerned that I didn't give enough time to prepare for the giveaway. So here it is now. Prepare for the giveaway. Okay, we're going to do the reset giveaway. The code will be coming on the screen any minute now since we completed our deal. Okay, so everybody get prepared. You're having some time to prepare for the giveaway. Here is the code for the resets. The code is now on the screen. We have 50 resets for code 50 fresh start. Congratulations to completing another deal, another 1K likes. We made a deal. We completed the deal. Another 50 resets. Very good job, everyone. If you're able to get one of the resets, throw a W in chat. The amount of giveaways done on this channel is incredible. Providing value every single day through trades, through education, through giveaways, through guest speakers. There's being value provided every single day. Very good job, everyone. Very good job. Congratulations that were for anybody that was able to get the resets. Another good question. How has journaling your trades through live streams helped your trading? In my opinion, everybody should do it. Whether you just record your screen, whether you document through text or screenshots or however you want to document, I suggest documenting in real time. Okay? Because dealing in real time versus hindsight is two completely different skills. You have to be able to develop logic and execute that logic in real time. Right? So recording your screen, doing live streams captures that real-time moment. Captures those thoughts, that logic, those decision-making instead of hindsight, instead of coming back to the charts at a later point in time and analyzing what occurred. right? So I highly suggest that you do document. Journaling is going to be one of the most important things to your education, and you should do it in real time, because what you're telling yourself during real-time action is going to be completely different than hindsight. Okay? Getting good at executing is completely different than being an analyst. Okay? Very good question. Everybody should be documenting. Am I taking this trade? No, you can see that I'm not logged into any accounts here, right? You'd see the account right here. You'd see the position on the screen. There's nothing to hide here. That's why I'm live streaming. You can see that I'm not logged into any brokers. I have no problem showing my positions. We spoke about it yesterday. Currently waiting on my live account with MyFundedFutures. When I get that live account, I'll be executing right here in front of everybody. So you can just see the positions right in front of you. Okay. So currently waiting on the live account. Amazing benefits to being in a live account. We'll go over that when we start trading it. We still show up and continue to gain conviction in our analysis every single day. So we'll be showing up whether there's a trade taken or not. So feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat as we're waiting and watching. This is the information that we're looking at today. I shouldn't give time for people to prepare for the giveaways. Yeah, I didn't give time for people to prepare yesterday, but you should have saw the response that occurred from that. So chat loves to provide their opinions. Really nothing to worry about. We continue to keep doing giveaways daily. So continue to keep showing up. There will be value provided through guest speakers, live trades, education, giveaways, the whole nine. We're doing it daily. Once again, not much action today. Just clearly showing the indecisiveness. I mean, look at this range. We've just been going sideways for quite some time here. We've just been stuck in this range here. So gladly being patient, continuing to wait. Ash, just wondering, can you tell us the hardware on your PC? I didn't build my PC. I had someone build it for me. Not very good with technology. So to be completely honest, I don't even know the hardware that's in the PC. I'll reach out to the individual that built it for me, and I'll have to get back to you on that. This question is about the next step after being funded. At what point do you know what you say is a good threshold or consistency goal that you should hit moving over from your 9-to-5 job? You should always keep your 9-to-5 job. We've talked about this in prior live streams. Your main source of income should be your 9-to-5 job. Your main source of income should cover all of your bills. Then you get a secondary source of income to fund your trading. A certain amount of money that's specifically used for trading. That way, there's no emotional attachment to it, that you know it's specifically supposed to be used for trading. Then when it comes to trading, You should not put any limitations, restrictions, unrealistic goals. You shouldn't put limited goals or limited restrictions on yourself. Allow it to happen naturally. Be objective to the results. This is a business where losing is inevitable. You're going to have losses. Okay, so it would be very unrealistic. It would induce a lot of emotions if you're setting certain goals and then not hitting those goals. Then once you don't hit those goals, you're going to have some kind of emotional response that's going to be negative towards your executions. So in my opinion, you should just allow it to happen naturally. You should focus on showing up and giving your undivided attention to your business. You should work as hard as you can every chance you get a chance to work, and then be objective to the results that happen. So process over results. Focus on the process and allow the results to be a byproduct of that. I wouldn't set specific goals. Just focus on working as hard as you can, learning as much as you can, and allow the results to be a byproduct of that. On average, how many trades do you take per week? You'll see it. Once again, once I get the live account, I'll be executing right here in front of everybody. I'm most comfortable in terms of risk, taking 1 trade a day maximum, two trades a week maximum. But risk tolerance is unique to the individual. Just because I only want to take 1 trade a day maximum doesn't mean that's the right or wrong answer. It's unique to the individual. Okay. Do you use mini or micro? I'll be executing on the micros for the live account. There's going to be a daily loss limit of $500. So we'll need to get down to the micros to position size correctly. Even if they're losing trades, the frequency of your trades should not be determined by the results. Once again, focus on the process, allow the results to be a byproduct of that. If I have a losing trade and I say that I only take 1 trade a day maximum, if that trade's a loss, then you go in trying to take 2 or 3 trades, that's revenge trading. Then you're emotionally trading. You're not sticking to your process. You have to be a risk manager first above everything else. So if you sit there and say that you're only going to take 1 trade a day maximum, you have to find discipline in that risk management. You have to be a risk manager first. So if you were to go back in after that first trade, you're just emotionally executing. You're not managing your risk. You're not listening to your rules. Your actions need to align with your words, and if they don't, there's no discipline there. Patience is a virtue. That is correct. Thank you for sharing that with us, Mr. Andrew Tang. Patience is truly a virtue. Quality over quantity, less is more, and patience is truly a virtue. So we got another 20 minutes during my segment. If we don't get a result to this position during my segment, I'll make sure to document on my socials. This is my social right here. I'll complete the documentation there afterwards if we don't get a result. Ash, I know your model is the unicorn model, but if you are familiar, maybe you can explain inversion and breaker. Not sure if I'm saying it right. I don't use inversions. So I'm not going to sit here and provide information that I don't have the information to. I'd rather defer to somebody else that has the information. It would be low quality of me to try to provide information that I don't know. So I'm sorry that I can't answer that. I can answer about unicorn model, breakers and FEGs. That I can talk about, but I don't use inversions, so I'm not going to, provide low quality information. I'll have to defer to somebody else that does. Now, what I do have to say is whatever model you do want to use is completely okay. There's no right or wrong in terms of executing. Whether you use, inversions, whether you use breakers, whether you use trend lines, whether you use indicators, there's no right or wrong. There's only managing risk. You have to be a risk manager first. Risk management is what will make progress in this business. You're either green or red at the end of the day. Doesn't matter how you got green or red, but you end the day either green or red. Again, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. I don't have much more analysis to go through. We've completed the analysis. So at this moment in time, now that we have certain analysis on the screen, we just wait for the result. Right? There is no hindsight here. The decisions were already made. The logic to those decisions were already pointed to. Now that we've made those decisions, it's a matter of waiting for the results. Right? And ever since I put this information on the screen, there was one entry given. You could have taken, any one of these entries here, but the entry occurred at the change in the state of delivery. It's been in drawdown since we got that entry, but it hasn't hit invalidation, nor has it hit target. So there's nothing to do here. It's just a matter of being patient at this moment. So as we're waiting and watching, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat. We do have another 18 minutes before the segment ends. How do you recommend taking your first payout on a 50K account? Make 3K, then take out 1,500, leave 1,500 as a buffer. Profit is not profit until it hits your bank account. So the moment you're allowed to withdraw what you're allowed to withdraw. Profit is not profit until it hits your bank account. Hear me clearly. There's no right or wrong, right? Whether you want to leave 500 as a drawdown, whether you want to leave 1,000 as a drawdown, what you need to do is withdraw the money. That's why we're here. Okay, so it's not profit until it hits your bank account. I don't care. It doesn't matter how much you leave as a buffer afterwards. What does matter is that the withdrawals are hitting your bank account. That's what matters. So still not much happening here. Quite a lethargic session. Really, there has been no directional move. I had mentioned in the beginning of the session, not every day is going to be a trading day, and you have to be okay with that. Today's one of those days. There's no clear direction. Got to be willing to be on the sidelines. So if you're finding any value in the streams, do me a favor, sub to the channel. That way, You can communicate here with us in chat. Hit the like button and turn the notifications on. That way you can be notified for when we go live again. We've been going live every single day of the week. We will continue to go live, looking to provide as much value as we can. So if you're finding any value in it, do us a favor, like the video, sub to the channel, turn those notifications on. Is this considered a breaker? No, this is not a breaker. That's why I labeled it as something else. This is a change in the state of delivery. This is not a breaker. Ash, how do you deal with taxes in the US? I have an accountant that does my taxes. So that's another one of the things where if I don't have the information, I can't provide it. I'm not going to provide low quality answers. I'm not a tax professional. I'm not an accountant. I'm not going to be able to go over that information. What you should do is get an accountant, get a tax professional to take care of that information. No one ever talks about losses and how they can shape the trader and give us reality checks. Well, I've said many times that this business, losses are inevitable. I've also spoke about how being objective to your results is very important. Okay, you can't get too fearful during losers. You can't get too greedy during winners. You need to be able to learn from both your winners and your losers. You have to be objective to the information. Now, everybody has their own risk tolerance. Okay, so in terms of how much people loses, is that tolerance. Some people might get shaped mentally, emotionally from a different dollar amount than myself or yourself, right? So if I lose $100, that might not mean the same thing as if you lose $100, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. What was my biggest loss and how you felt? Mine was an unrealized loss. That was my largest loss. I bought Ethereum during COVID. I went from $200 to about $4K. I had multiple Ethereum at that point in time. I didn't take profit at the top. And in fact, it came all the way back down to about $900. So it was a 5-figure unrealized loss. And that shaped me in terms of risk management. It was unrealized because it was a position that was still open. Okay, it wasn't, X amount of dollars in my bank account that I lost. It was a position that I had open for quite some time. I never closed it. It almost round tripped all the way. So having a 5-figure unrealized loss definitely showed me how important risk management is. That, having conviction in a bias is not enough. Having a game plan and executing it is more important. It definitely instilled the importance of risk management, without a doubt. Yeah, unrealized, once again, unrealized loss. There's a difference. When you have an open position, it's called unrealized profit or loss. Nonetheless, watch 5 figures disappear and tell me how that feels. We got another 10 minutes before we're going to wrap up stream. So if you have any other questions or comments, feel free to throw it in chat. Very, very boring price action today. Nothing really going on. We've just been going sideways ever since the open. All right, these are the type of days where less is more. Quality over quantity. With the unicorn model, do you look to enter in the FEG, or is the breaker good enough? I look to enter at the beginning of the breaker with a stop at the low. Let me go to GU from yesterday. We spoke about this position on GU. This is what a short looks like. Okay. This is what a short looks like. Swing high, swing low, new high, new low. This would be the breaker here. You have an FEG aligned with the breaker, right? So this is a unicorn model. FEG plus breaker equals unicorn. To enter this position, I enter at the beginning of the breaker with a stop at the high, aiming for 2R. Right, so you see that there's multiple entries here. After those entries, we go nicely to 2R. Okay, so I enter at the beginning of the breaker with a stop at the high, or vice versa for short, long, excuse me. Stop at the low. That was from yesterday. All right, and that also explains why today is not a breaker, right? So a long position would have a swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high. You don't get that here. Same thing here on ES. This is just one move lower. You got a change in the state of delivery. That is different than a breaker. So this is simply just a change in the state of delivery. I don't know how many more times I'll have to say it. I guess I'll continue to keep repeating myself. If the execution's not shown on the screen, I didn't enter the position. All right, so you don't see no contracts shown, no P&L going up and down, no executions, no nothing. That's because I did not enter the position. So go ahead and throw a couple more questions or comments in chat. We got last 5 minutes before we wrap up the stream. Would you consider a 5-minute change in state of delivery disregarding the 1 hour change in state of delivery first? Yeah, so if you look at the hourly, let's take this off so you can see the hourly real quick. In terms of a change in the state of delivery on the hourly, the bullish change in the state of delivery would occur here. Okay, but if you're waiting for a higher time frame change in the state of delivery, there will be a lower time frame reversal that already occurs. right? So let's take a look at this right here to prove that point. You have an hourly bearish change in the state of delivery right here. Let's go to a lower time frame now, and notice how the lower time frame change in the state of delivery occurs before the higher time frame change in the state of delivery. If you're waiting for a higher time frame change in the state of delivery, a lower time frame reversal is already going to occur. Okay. Any significance to where the FVG is located in the breaker? It either is overlapping the breaker or it's not. So that's the only significance. It's either overlapping the breaker or it's not. It doesn't matter where within the breaker it's located. Ash, given the experience that you have now, how would you look at the market when you were going to start trading back then? I would put more importance on risk management, okay, because any model could work. It doesn't matter what model you use if you manage your risk properly. So I would put risk management as the #1 priority. Then next is time being the most important element. Understanding that 9:30 open is where the public starts participating in the stock market shows the significance of 9:30. I would focus on the opening times instead of just trading whenever, because futures is open 23 hours of the day. That doesn't mean good setups are going to occur 23 hours of the day. So I would put more importance on time as well. So very good questions today. It does look like this is the end of the live stream. We're coming into 11:30 here. So I do just want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody that's participating here. Being able to work with like-minded professionals is really providing a lot of value. Going over all these questions and comments is getting more experience than we would if we were doing this on our own. So, all the value being provided through all of the expert traders that are coming on here, through all the trades that we are showing on here, through the giveaways that we are doing, along with chat asking so many questions and going over so much information is providing a lot of value. If you want to continue to keep working and learning with us, let's continue to keep showing up daily. We will again be going live again tomorrow, along with Thursday and Friday. So very good job to everyone. Thank you for being here. This is the end of the live stream. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. I hope you all have a nice day. I will see you all tomorrow.